Morning, fifth graders, or I guess they're not all in the morning. Hello, fifth graders. Happy Thursday. Unfortunately, I am here right away in the morning for advisory, and then I have to go home because Axel is sick today. And my husband is starting a new job today, so he could not stay home with him. So I'm going to go back home. So my husband can go to his first day of work, and then I'm going to be with Axel. So unfortunately, we can't finish the activity in the lab. But because a lot of it is just answering questions like these, you can do that in class. Okay, so first thing we need to do is fill in your planner, and it is on the board as well. But let me see here. Got to get that open. So change of plans, that was from a long time ago, but that's also for today. So get in your planner, fill it in for today and tomorrow. Let me find the sheet I need. I've already done magnets, already did color. We are here. So adding in an Edpuzzle, because that's your assignment today. 2 sections of Study Island will be due Monday. Tomorrow you need to bring earbuds, headphones, because we're going to do the practice MCA in class tomorrow. So you need your Chromebook charged and you need earbuds and headphones to listen, because I said in science they talk to you. So it's not just something you can read. You have to have earbuds, headphones. If you don't have them tomorrow, you'll just listen, and then you'll just have to go borrow some from the office next week or buy some. They're $2. Okay, so planner should be filled in. Here's Thursdays, Edpuzzle, and 2 sections of Study Island, and headphones, earbuds. All right. So we're just going to go in order for this. Some of these you already have done, so you can just get to the Edpuzzle question and move on. If you're not done with these, you're going to answer them as we go. So we're going in order. So we're using this picture here. What part of the water cycle changes water vapors into clouds? A, evaporation, B, condensation, C, precipitation, D, collection. You're going to have to pause because I'm just going to blast through this. So you're going to have to pause after every question. I'm not pausing. Okay. 17. What part of the water cycle changes liquid water into gas called water vapor? Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection. Remember, on these kind, you're just writing A, B, C, or D. Other than water, what is the driving force that powers the water cycle? 19. Is water a renewable or non-renewable resource? Explain your answer. 20. What is the purpose of the flower part of a plant? To attract other flowers, to attract humans to pick them, to attract bees and other pollinators to help with reproduction, to taste good when we eat them. What is the purpose of the root part of a plant? To hold a plant in place, to take water in from the soil, to take in minerals and nutrients from the soil. All of the above. What is the purpose of leaves? To hold a plant in place, to attract bees and other pollinators to help with reproduction, to take in sunlight for photosynthesis, to take in water for the plant. A plant is shown below. This plant has large pink flowers and makes seeds. Based on the dichotomous key, which of the following is true about the plant shown above? This is like when we did the rock activity or the mineral activity, the rock activity in class, and you had to follow the path. So you always start with number 1, okay, and answer the question. The plant produces seeds. The plant does not produce seeds. Well, it says right here it makes seeds. So you need to follow the path. And then go to number 2. Plant produces flowers. Plant does not produce flowers. Produce means make. So then, based on this information, is it A, the plant cannot reproduce? B, the plant produces spores? C, the plant is a flowering plant? D, the plant is a non-flowering plant? Jimmy is doing an investigation about the way that 3 tulip plants grow in different amounts of light. As he collects data about the tulip plants each day, it is most important that he makes observations at a different time each day, in the same way every time, in a different way each time, of only one plant each day. Plant is shown below. This plant does not produce flowers. It does, however, make seeds. Based on the dichotomous key, which of the following is true about the plant shown above? So you start with A, plant produces seeds, plant does not produce seeds. Once you figure out your answer, is it A, the plant cannot reproduce? B, the plant produces spores? C, the plant is a flowering plant? D, the plant is a non-flowering plant. 26, what are two adaptations that all birds have to help them survive? They have the same eyes and the ability to fly. They have brown feathers and the ability to live in water. Beaks to eat certain foods and specialized feet. The ability to fly and talons on their feet. The ability to dive in water for food and lay eggs. So again, you should be pausing, and if you need to re-listen to it, you need to go backwards and listen again. Animals are often classified or grouped together on the basis of physical characteristics that can be easily seen, such as the presence of fur, scales, or shells. Which of the following groups of animals may be grouped together based on body covering? Cat, duck, frog. Fish, squirrel, horse. Duck, wolf, snake. Wolf, cat, bear. A scientist is studying fish. She wants to sort many different kinds of fish into groups by the way they swim. Which characteristic would the scientist most likely use when grouping the fish? Number of teeth, fin position, number of stripes, body color. Tamara and Tyler are both interested in studying birds. Tamara goes to the park and uses her notebook to record the number and colors of birds that she sees there. Tyler designs a plan to test what kind of bird seed the birds at the park eat the fastest. What kind of scientific investigation are Tamara and Tyler doing? Tamara and Tyler are both using observation to study birds. Tamara and Tyler are both doing experiments on birds. Tamara is doing an experiment, whereas Tyler is using observation. Tamara is using observation, whereas Tyler is doing an experiment. Nicole did an investigation about fruit. She collected some data during the investigation. She wants to display the data. She's making a bar graph. Which data did she most likely collect? The number of friends with bananas in their lunch each day this week. How many of her friends like each kind of fruit? The number of apples she ate each day this month. The percent of her friends that have fruit trees at home. Energy flow. In this food chain up here, algae, tadpole, water snake, raccoon, bacteria, and fungi. Excuse me, which is an example of a decomposer? Tadpole, water snake, algae, bacteria. In the food chain above, the skunk, right here, now in this one, the skunk gets its energy directly from which organism? The skunk gets its energy directly. Honeybee, eagle, rose, all of these. Same food chain right here. In this food chain, which organism makes its own food? Rose, eagle, honeybee, skunk. 34, there is currently a vaccine for measles, but in 2017, over 30 people in Minnesota had measles. Most likely, how does this happen if there is a vaccine? A vaccinated person gave the measles to another vaccinated person. Now, before you answer any of these vaccination ones, remember we live in perfect MCA world where everything works great all the time, okay? Unless they tell you differently, unless it says something in the words, everything is great. Wonderful. Works great. So again, a vaccinated person gave the measles to another vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gave the measles to a non-vaccinated person. A non-vaccinated person gave the measles to a non-vaccinated person. A non-vaccinated person gave the measles to a vaccinated person. 35, which of the following diseases can be prevented by vaccination? Asthma, polio, diabetes, arthritis, heart attack, stroke. Influenza, whooping cough, and measles are examples of some of the contagious diseases that can be prevented by vaccines given in the form of an injection. An injection is a shot. Contagious diseases are diseases that are caused by germs and can be passed to other people, inherited from parents and cannot be passed to other people, caused by allergies and cannot be passed to other people, caused by eating rotten food and can be passed to other people. When Marcy was a baby, the doctor vaccinated her for mumps, smallpox, and diphtheria, all of which are dangerous diseases. How will these vaccinations most likely affect Marcy in her later life? Marcy will have a greater chance of coming down with these 3 diseases. The vaccinations will have no effect on Marcy in her later life. Marcy will not get these 3 diseases, but may give them to other people. Marcy should never become ill from these 3 diseases. Which of the following materials is a good conductor of electricity? Cloth, plastic, dry wood, silver. Evan connects a piece of plastic between a battery and a light bulb. Will the bulb light up? Yes, because plastic is a conductor. Yes, because plastic is an insulator. No, because plastic is not a conductor. No, because plastic is not an insulator. Ivan wants to build an electromagnet. What 3 materials will Ivan need? A compass, a battery, wires, a solenoid, which is the coil of wire, wrapped around an iron core, wires and a light bulb, a battery, wires, and a solenoid, the coil of wire, wrapped around something iron. An iron core means the middle part. A battery, wires, and a light bulb. Light tends to travel in a straight line. What might cause light to stop traveling in a straight line? If the light is traveling through water, if it is very sunny out, if it is very cold out, if it strikes another object. Which object would probably absorb the most light? A dark black hat, a white hat, a yellow hat, a light blue hat. What do you need in order for an object to make a shadow? The right temperature, a source of light, the right air pressure, complete darkness. At what time of day would your shadow be the shortest? 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., which is noon, 3 p.m. Fill in the blank in this sentence. The blank energy of a substance is determined by how active its particles are. The electrical energy, the light energy, mechanical energy, heat energy. Which of the following actions can produce heat energy? Putting a book on the top shelf of a bookcase. Refrigerating leftover food. Placing a metal spoon next to a magnet. Rubbing your hands together. Jenny plucked a tight string. If Jenny made the tight string even shorter and then plucked it, what would happen to the sound? The pitch would be lower. The pitch would be higher. The sound would be quieter. The sound would be louder. What is the sound's pitch? How high or low a sound is. How loud or how soft a sound is. How much energy a sound has. How far a sound has traveled. Which of the following describes something through which objects can be seen clearly? Translucent, opaque, obtuse, transparent. Ms. Gomez provided her class with a table of properties of liquid water, solid metal, and helium gas. She then asked her students to match each substance with its properties. Which substance was most likely liquid water? 1, 2, or 3? All right, let's see how you did. 16 should have been B. Condensation is when we change it into clouds. Condensation, C for clouds. So you can cross them off if you got them wrong, so that at the end, when I ask how many you got right or wrong, you can let me know your honest answer and see how we're doing. What part changes liquid to water vapor? Evaporation. Vapor's in the word. That's when we make vapor. Evaporation. Vapor's in the word. A. 18 should have been the sun. Can't do the water cycle without the sun. 19, renewable resource, because if we use water properly, we don't run out of it, and it's just cycled through over and over and over. Non-renewables are things like rocks and oil and minerals and diamonds and gas. That when we use them, we can't get them back. So non-renewable takes millions of years, and once we use it, it's gone. So water's renewable. 20 is C. Flower attracts bees and pollinators. 21 is D. The root does all of those, hold it in place, takes in water, takes in minerals. 22, the purpose of leaves is C. To take in sunlight. So this one was the roots. This was the flower. This is the roots. So C, take in sunlight, is the leaves. 23, if you follow the dichotomous key, produces seeds, go to 2. It says up here it has large pink flowers, which means it makes flowers. So if a plant produces flower, it's a flowering plant. So you should have had C for 23. C for 23. 24, the answer is B. If Jimmy does an investigation, what should he do every day? He should do the experiment the same way every time to keep things valid, constant, reliable. Same thing, same way, 1,000,000 times. Repeat, the same way. So you can compare. All right, we have another dichotomous key. It says it makes seeds. So number 1 says it produces seeds. Go to number 2. It does not produce flowers. Does not produce flowers. So it's a non-flowering plant, and that was D. D for 25. 26 should have been C. All birds have a beak of some kind to eat things, and they all have feet of some kind to do different things. Some have talons, right, to grab things. Ducks have webbed feet to swim and move around. Some little birds have feet that'll grab onto twigs so they can, or branches so they can hold on. So all birds have a beak, not the same beak, but they have a beak and they have feet, right? They can't all fly. They're not all brown. Boring. They're not all brown. Down here, they can't all fly. They don't all have talons. Talons are like the eagle feet. They can't all dive into water, right? So C for 26. 27 should have been D. All have fur. Wolf, cat, bear. 28 should have been B, fin position. Up here it says group by the way they swim. Their fin position is the only thing that helps with swimming. So 28 is B. 29, this was a study island one that we did in class, should have been D. Tamara's using observation because she's just going and observing with her eyes, seeing the number and colors of birds. Tyler is actually designing a plan to test. So he's doing an experiment. 29 is D. 30. Oh boy, I got lots of stuff here, don't I? Making a bar graph. Okay, bar graph is when we're comparing different things. Line graph has to do with time. Pie chart has to do with percent. So A, it said here, each day this week. That's a line graph. We're dealing with time. Here we're looking for a bar graph. C, also time, each day this month. D says percent, so that would be a pie. That'd be a pie graph. So the answer had to be B. How many of her friends like each kind of fruit? So we're comparing different fruit, different friends, different fruit. So B for 30. 31 in the food chain shown above. What's a decomposer? Oh my goodness. I think we've been doing this since September, right? Bacteria, fungus, earthworms. Bacteria, fungus, earthworms, all decomposers. They're the stuff that break down the dead things. So if the algae dies, they break it down. If the tadpole dies, they break it down. If the snake dies, they break it down. If the raccoon dies, they break it down. Bacteria, decomposers. The skunk gets its energy directly. Directly means what's the one right in front of it? The honeybee. The skunk does get energy from the rose, but it's through the honeybee, right? So the eagle, remember the energy pyramid? We only 10% goes up. So the eagle gets energy from the rose, from the honeybee, from the skunk, but directly means the one right in front of it. So this one would have been the honeybee. This one was hard for 33. In the food chain above, which organism makes its own food? Now, a lot of you are thinking honeybee because they make honey. Now, while some bees do eat a little bit of the honey, most of the honey is meant for humans or bears or other animals that'll eat honey, right? So this one was kind of tricky. This one, you needed to pick the rose. The rose is a producer, a plant. It makes its own food. Producers, plants make their own food. Oh, we should know that. We talked about that a bazillion times too. But This one was tricky because that honeybee one, you know that bees make honey. That's usually for us, or I guess maybe the skunk. Definitely for bears. But you had to pick the rose. It's the best answer. Honeybee's good. Rose is best. And we need the best answers. Okay? So, rose was the answer. All right, here we are. Perfect MCA world. There's a vaccine, but people still got measles. It's because, where are we? Sorry, I forgot to highlight the whole thing here. Should have been C. A non-vaccinated gave it to a non-vaccinated. Okay? If someone's not vaccinated, they can get the disease or carry the disease. Maybe they don't have symptoms, but they can carry it and then give it to someone else that is not vaccinated. Perfect MCA world. We know that's not always the case because some vaccinated people do get sick, but not in MCA world. MCA world is perfect. 35, which of the following can be prevented by getting that shot or that vaccination? It's polio. Polio is a disease from a long, long, long time ago. It made people paralyzed, or they maybe not completely paralyzed, but a friend of mine, her dad had polio, and he's had to walk with a cane since he was like 20 because he can't use one of his legs. So asthma is the disease where you can't breathe. You can't give that to someone else. Remember, vaccinated ones are where you give it to someone. Same with diabetes, arthritis, heart attack, and stroke. You don't pass those to someone. 36 should have been A. Contagious diseases are caused by germs, can be passed to others. 36 is A. 37 is D. If you get vaccinated for these diseases, you should never be able to get those diseases. 38, a conductor keeps things moving. So the conductor here is silver. It's a metal. All metals are usually conductors. I accidentally put the wrong one here. No, because it's not a conductor. Sorry about that. 39 should be C. My apologies. Got a little quick this morning. Since I didn't know I was going to be gone, I'm moving too fast. So 39, Evan connects a piece of plastic. Will the light bulb light up? No, because plastic is not a conductor. So 39 is C. 40, you need a battery, wires, and that wire wrapped around it for a solenoid. Okay, for an electromagnet. 40 is C. If you're trying to make a circuit, that's different. Then you need D. This isn't a circuit. This is an electromagnet. It's just a really heavy or a really high-powered magnet. So we don't need to turn something on. We're trying to pick stuff up through electricity and magnetism. So you need something to charge it. You need wires. And then you need to wrap around something that will be the magnet. 40 is C. 41, what might cause light to stop traveling in a straight line if it hits something else? D. Oh, absorb the most light. I said dark. That's why we try not to wear dark in the summer because it's so hot, absorbing all the direct light. What do you need to make an object make a shadow? Light. And we did this one in class, right? We drew this one. When's your shadow the shortest? When it's right above us because there's nothing to block it but little us. So noon. 45. Oh, when things are moving. We've got a solid. We add heat. Got a liquid. Add more heat. We got a gas. Take away heat. Oh, we have a liquid. Take away more heat. We got a solid. So moving particles is heat. 46. What makes heat? Friction. All friction causes heat. Now I've got hot hands here. So D. 47. Okay, this was pitch, right? And there was lots of things that make pitch different. What the instrument is made out of, how big the strings are, how tight the strings are, and if you pull things farther, right? Or because then it makes it tighter. So this one was kind of confusing. If Jenny made the tight string a little shorter and then plucked it. Sorry, give me one sec. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So the tighter the string, the shorter the string, the tighter, did I say that already? The pitch would be higher. Now, if on Study Island you get a question about what always makes pitch change, it's how fast they're moving. Changing the material doesn't always change the pitch. It can, but not always. What always changes the pitch is the speed of the vibrations, and your notes would say that. So, make sure if you get that one on Study Island, it's how fast they're going. So, can the material change it? Absolutely. Always? Nope. So, it's how fast. Pitch is how fast things are moving. Faster is higher, slower is lower, slow, low, slow, low. What is a sound's pitch? Well, we've been talking about that, how high or low a sound is. Which of the following describes something through which objects can be seen? Transparent. Obtuse, I think that's a math term, an obtuse angle. Opaque is when you can't see through it at all. Oh, I can't see through it. And translucent is fuzzy glass, right? Stained glass, where you can kind of see it and kind of not. So transparent. If you are very transparent, I can see through you. Last one. Ms. Gomez provided a class with a table of properties. I don't know why that's still up there. There we go. Of liquid, water, solid metal, and helium gas. We want to know which one's water. Now, if it's something has a fixed volume, it means that we can measure exactly what's in the container. Exactly. A solid, we could do that, right? And it doesn't even have to be in a container. I could tell you the volume of this. I could tell you the volume of this. Okay. I could also tell you the volume inside of it because it's liquid. So one of these two has to be the liquid because it has a fixed volume. Gas does not have a fixed volume. It's all over the place, right? It's all over the place, moving super fast. So this one has to be the gas. We know that because a gas takes the shape of every container it's in because it's moving super fast, but I can't measure it. Now, takes the shape of the container. We decided that a solid cannot do that. This solid cannot fit into a bottle that's smaller than this. It won't work. It does not take the shape of its container. So therefore, your answer should have been 2. All right, so the last question in a moment. So now, if you still have time, you're going to start your study islands that are due on Monday or finish any missing work for me. So start your study islands. Get those done early. Make sure you bring headphones or earbuds tomorrow because we're going to finish our practice MC. I think it's like 20 questions. So that'll take you no time at all. So that's our plan. You're working on study islands. Email me if you have any questions. I should be available at some point today to answer emails. Sorry, I'm not there again. Be good. Be respectful. So working on study islands and then any other homework you might have for other classes, and bring a charged Chromebook and your headphones tomorrow. Thanks so much. See you tomorrow.